Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining today's webinar, sponsored by Bicom Systems. This is Channel Vision Editor Gerald Baldino here, and I'll be your moderator for today's event. Today, we have a great presentation lined up for you on a very hot topic, which is delivering business communications to rural communities. Over the next hour, you'll learn all about how you can help close the rural broadband gap and increase your bottom line in the process. Our presenters today will be Salio Reyes and Patrice Vermont from Bicom Systems. If you have any questions at all during the webinar, please submit them through the Q&A portal, which is located at the bottom of the Zoom platform. We'll try to answer questions as we go along, and we'll also have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. At this point, I'd like to turn the presentation over to the Bicom Systems team to begin.
All right, thank you. This is Saulio Reyes with Bicom Systems. Thanks again, everyone, to be present here today. I'm an account manager at Bicom Systems for over 12 years, and I have been helping service providers with Bicom Systems, which has 15 years now, also helping service providers deliver VoIP. And hopefully this presentation helps you see how VoIP can be a very nice tool to win some business in the rural area. So let's get started with sharing some statistics with you guys. The VoIP market is expected to grow a compound annual growth of a rate of 9% between 2016 and 2021. This means it will jump from 83 billion in 2015 up to over 140 billion in 2021. Despite this growth, nearly half of all the businesses still do not understand why they need VoIP. Almost as many held back by fear of the migration process, for example. And even those businesses that have already adopted VoIP are often using it for a limited purpose rather than exploring its full potential. We found this question posted on a popular internet forum. The very first answer was how funny it was and that VoIP and rural don't go together, that have a good luck with your search. So this it's clear there is a huge demand for VoIP in the rural areas and an extreme lack of education. Well, guys, we need to do better. VoIP helps rural areas in so many ways. So let's explore where and how VoIP can help. What will be the challenges in order to deliver VoIP? It's this, and at the end, I will also introduce you guys to some of the solutions Bicom Systems designs and develop in order to deliver a full integrated communications platform. So the need for VoIP in rural areas. Let's start with the social. VoIP connects people to other people anywhere in the world and give access to limitless cultural and recreational resources. On the educational side, VoIP gives access to distance learning, training, and specialists anywhere, and give libraries and schools access to more resources. On the health and medicine, VoIP makes it possible for hospitals and clinics to connect with specialists from out of the area and let individuals keep in contact with their doctors. and even have virtual doctors visit from home, for example. Emergencies and first responders find more training opportunities for first responder is a plus, more reliable and flexible communication systems with multiple models of communications like text, chat, calling, etc. Economic development. Well, VoIP creates more job opportunities for remote workers and allows entrance to national and worldwide markets regardless of the location, right? Government. VoIP lets citizens better connect with the government through multiple modes of communications, public safety alerts, and more. So, guys, now that we know there are many areas and ways to use that technology in order to improve their communications, let's explore what will be the common challenges providing these services. So we all agree that VoIP in rural areas is great, but I'm sure we can also agree that there are plenty of challenges to solving VoIP. The good news is that the number one challenge to VoIP in rural areas is the lack of internet. And internet is what most of you, if not all, do. So if you start building VoIP into your internet package, you will automatically be knocking out the first challenge, right? Let's look at some of the other challenges you may face, like geographically. Transportation of materials and commute for sales, support personnel, make it more cost and time consuming, right? And in order to serve these areas. Topography, well, we all know rural areas often have a more rugged terrain with than cities, and with mountain ranges, forests, valleys, and more, making installations and services more difficult, right? Weather, well, rural areas often have a more extreme climates, right? And a slower response to weather, for example, snow that takes longer to clear, or frozen ground in the northern US, for example, which make it harder to install, maintain services, etc. Power, rural areas, kind of same scenario here. Rural areas often have less dependable power supplies and a slower response to time to outage. Also the population density of this area that requires more infrastructure and materials, but have fewer customers to recoup from the cost. And higher levels of poverty statistically have the rural areas have higher rates of poverty, which translates to smaller communications budgets for the small medium businesses. And we come back to the first and number one, which is the internet connectivity. Rural areas typically have less bandwidth available for than urban, right? And areas making VoIP technologies more difficult to implement. So, but we can overcome most of these challenges with VoIP using cloud technologies and modern add-ons like unified communications or call center solutions. If any of you believe there is a missing one, or you like to ask about a specific one that you have encountered, please, in the Q&A box, and I will go over it at the end of the presentation as well. Right, so solutions for geography. All calls are local. With VoIP, all calls are local, so there is no need for expensive toll-free numbers, and users can even put a click-to-call number on their website, for example. Callers will never know if the user is in the high rise of a city, for example, or in a home or on home office in the rural area. Conferencing VoIP together with unified communications allow remote conferencing, video calling, and team members around the globe to meet and collaborate. VoIP, a unified communications apps that supports file sharing and or screen sharing, make it possible to collaborate and share things without meeting in person or sending things via fax or snail mail, etc. VoIP can be installed, maintained, and upgraded remotely, and it's so easy to use that no training is needed. So you can sell VoIP solutions without ever going to the customer location. You can auto provision and so on remotely, so no need to even touch the device you're sending to them. Mobile app, for example, makes it possible for users to get online from anywhere and even use their own mobile, which is beneficial in a rural area where fewer devices may be available.
This is Gerald here. I just want to interject for a moment. We had a question that came in. Can VoIP be used with satellite internet?
Well, there are many solutions now and devices that will work with satellite internet. Satellite internet is known for the huge delay it has, but there are devices and codecs now that will deal with these delays and you know, make you able to have a normal conversation over a satellite link.
Great, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? So far, I'm not looking at the Q&A box from here, but there are no. Eddie, we continue? Sounds good?
I think we're good to continue for now.
All right, thanks. All right, guys, well, talking about whether a hosted voice solution is not affected by local weather, right? So power outages, etc., because it's not hosted locally. So it's great for rural locations. The VoIP solution can be in a city somewhere else, sending reliable service through the cloud and pretty much to any location from there. So most likely from the cloud, you will have this reliable service that still have a disaster recovery solution in place and real-time redundancy, backups, etc. But they are not affected by the local area disasters or weather-related problems. Unified communications, for example, mobile apps allow users to seamlessly transfer a call from the IP phone or their desk phone or cell phone into a mobile device using mobile data if needed. The person on the other end of the call will not know this, will be transparent for the person on the other end of the call. Budget and cost. Well, VoIP is known for being less expensive. So VoIP calling costs significantly is less than traditional calling. In rural areas specifically, there's no long distance charges, and it will be great for small budgets. Equipment, less equipment. Hosted VoIP requires no new additional hardware, so upfront costs are very much lower than an on-site system. This is this is especially true in rural areas where it is more expensive to transport and install hardware, right? Rural companies can use their existing equipment or soft phone, for example. Additional savings can be found in solutions like VoIP, like fax to over IP, right? Scalability, the scalable nature of the hosted multi-tenant solution means company can start as small as they need and grow as big as they want. This is a great thing for small rural companies that do not have a budget for upfront costs. They can start with a small monthly subscription and add as they grow. VoIP is so easy to use and maintain that is no need for IT departments or additional employees at the end user side. Connectivity and bandwidth. Well, there are many improvements on the VoIP codecs that are used today, like HD audio, ensures better call quality in rural areas where traditional telephony is sometimes spotty, and with the right internet, VoIP phone calls will sound the same as anywhere in the world. The Opus codec, very similar situation, optimize the audio codec in a call within given bandwidth, providing the best call experience possible with the resource you have. And Opus code automatically adjusts call quality based on the network service range and other factors like affecting the connection rather than dropping the call. And this is one of the codecs that I was referring to when I say there are many devices now that support these new codecs, and in order to support normal telephone calls over satellite connections, for example, or poor connections with big delays and so on. And mobility. Well, again, we come to unified communications, and you will hear this a lot, not just during this presentation, but pretty much along the way of becoming or improving your VoIP services. Unified communications, or UC, it's the key these days. UC mobile apps allows the users to seamless transfer calls, like I explained earlier, and it's pretty it's a pretty transparent way for you to take your business extension on the go, integrate with your own personal phone if you want, and make it pretty seamless for the for your customers or the person on the other side of the phone call. So even more reasons. So the more services you offer, the easier it will be to make the next sale and keep your existing customers, right? If you have everything rural businesses need, you will quickly become the go-to provider for that area. So they like to have everything on the same NAS. They like to hear you have, and you can integrate all the services they are looking for, and you will always have a winning bid over your competitors. VoIP brings growth that helps you develop your own brand and build your enterprise. Without much competition in rural area, it will be easy for your name to become well known. The demand is high and competition is low. You will sell to both new customers and your existing customers with add-ons, right? So make more sales. By offering additional services, also each sale and monthly subscription will increase in value, right? And the rural customers will love having just one bill for all their connectivity and communications needs. So those all are more reasons for you to sell and from there to buy your services.
Sorry to interrupt, Salio. I believe you just answered a question that's been asked about the profitability to sell in rural areas. Basically, with the fewer and the less competition that you can have in these remote areas, it makes more sense to sell in these markets, right? Just down to the competition is less important than in other places. Would you agree with that?
Correct. That's correct. Yes, and one more car in your deck as well. So if you're selling other services, many of our customers, they will tell me, VoIP is not my primary product, but VoIP is what makes me sell and maintain my customers that buy my primary product. So it's very important to me to have VoIP along the side, and again, it just helps you push in. And as it says, as I said earlier, in rural areas you have a less competition, and you can very easily become well known if you integrate the right set of products.
Okay, thank you.
All right, moving on. VoIP is just the first of many building blocks to grow your company and become a one-stop shop for your customers. Once you have VoIP, you can grow your business and solutions with more add-ons, right? Like unified communications, many of the advantages of VoIP that have discussed or that I have discussed already features unified communications, as I say, and you see opens the door of many communication for rural companies and workers that workers to think like instant messaging, conferencing, collaboration, and so on. Call centers, any company with customer who benefit from a call center solution, even if they don't realize that is what they need. For example, customer service. Call center solutions improve customer interactions and open up nodes of communications. inbound orders. Call center solutions can automate the order process. CRM integration, it facilitates CRM integration to capture value customer details and interact with the customer history and the phone history and calling and so on. So again, all these add-ons could be very valuable to rural areas. All right, guys, so as promised, let's review some of the solutions that we have for delivering a unified communication system or totally integrated communication platform to the rural areas. Bicom System has a suite of solutions that integrate natively, so you can deliver unified communications using your PBX system. Or in this case, PBXware is our telephony platform. It comes in a business, a call center, and multi-tenant editions. The multi-tenant edition supports unlimited extensions and scalability, meaning you can host all your customers from a single centralized platform, and our unified communications app is called Bicom. Supports calling, chat, conferencing, messaging, and more on your desktop or cell phone on the go or mobile device. We also design and develop Serverware, the only virtualization platform dedicated to communications in the cloud. It delivers a wide range of IP services and applications with a 99.999 availability. It's a stable, reliable, and for a maximum uptime. So those are our out of our 7 different line of products, all around the communications platform. These are our 3 main products. We also like to invite you to come to read this interesting case story out of our website. An internet and communications provider called SOCS is using VoIP cloud technologies from Bicom Systems to serve a wide range of customers in Southern Ohio, and they came to the rescue for a local police department using mobile and unified communications. So if you like, I'm not sure, I think I can paste this into the Q&A, so you can easily copy and paste it, but you can easily find it in our case story page at our website. So it's a very interesting story there to read about. So moving on, we'll like to finish with some tips on selling VoIP, just to make sure you guys get as ready as possible to go and attack this market, whatever your area is or your market is. So today's market favors buyers, and most of already know exactly what they want, right? It's not like 10, 15 years ago, they didn't know what VoIP was. You had to explain what VoIP is before you can start selling, right? They have done their research, and they have seen the feature that your VoIP competitors offer, right? And they want all of them. The solution, well, unified communications. As I said earlier, unified communications is the key. Unified communications levels the playing field so that even the smallest business can offer the exact same feature set as the larger enterprise. Not only will you have the features that your customers want, UC opens the door to adding new features as they emerge as well. On the few key features that would make your product marketable, scalability. Customers love to when you tell them that your product it will last forever. They just love it. Maybe they have already changed providers a few times and are sick of costs and processes involved in that. And so a product that you can scale will make it their investment and transition worth it, right? On comprehensiveness, if you are offering every single thing that the customer companies needs, they will jump at the chance to sign on with just one vendor. As I said earlier, they like to have that one vendor that can integrate all the services they need, at least around the communication side. So make it so when they get to know your company, they can stop shopping and get back to work. There was a time where mobility was an extra, the icing of the cake, so to speak. But today it's simply expected. So just a little intel here. According to a study from Tech Navio, the mobile VoIP market is expected to grow 28% between 2016 and 2020. So bottom line is you have got to have mobility. Right? Right. So this time the largest concern of SMBs today is security. Even if serious threats do not exist, they are fearful and need assurance. So make sure you choose a platform that includes security measures that will give your customers peace of mind. One size does not fit all, so there has to be some flexibility. If you want to win all the customers, you must be willing to work on an individual basis and provide custom solutions. We as Bicom System has won some of our biggest bids because of custom work that would and pleased the customer, right, the end user. And finally, all these pieces will work together seamlessly, right? So integration, as mentioned above, the goal to be to provide a one-stop shop that you are the only vendor and your customers can focus on their business rather than making all their pieces fit together. Right? And well, for last but not least, I'd like to talk to you guys about benefits versus features. And this is good to know because there are many systems out there and many features, but you really know the difference between benefits and features. Well, benefits are what makes your product irresistible to customers. These are the big features, the big picture value, like saving time, increasing productivity, lessening the stress, etc. So illustrate the benefits to convince your lead that they need your product to make their life easier, etc. And so your product benefits are the answer to what do I get, right? That's the benefits. And features, as I said earlier, are how products delivers all those benefits that you just told your customer about. These are things like presence, click-to-dial, conferencing, and so on. Demonstrate features to prove that your products has all of those life improving benefits. So your features will answer the question, how do they get it? Right? All right, so that's about it for today, guys. If you're wondering how to get started, please don't hesitate to contact us. I will now go over the Q&A box so I can answer your questions, and let's see.
Okay, great. Thank you for the fantastic presentation. As you mentioned here, we're going to open up the floor now to Q&A. We got a bunch in the queue here, so let's start it from the top. We had a question come in about key benefits for rural residential customers who want to switch to VoIP from a traditional landline provider.
All right. Guys, sorry, I was looking at the first one. It looks like you skipped the first one, right? And you went to the second one from Travis.
We have a couple that come in, so I figure we can address all of them, but kind of wanted to tackle that one first. But either one in any order, it doesn't matter.
All right. Well, something that comes to mind is a discussion I had with a customer in a show last year, and they told me the customers were afraid to move into VoIP on the residential area because of 911 and emergency access. And they say if they have many weather or fire disasters and so on, and they didn't know if the power or maybe the cable internet was down, how they were going to reach services. And the answer was unified communications, because they could have a backup line on their mobile phone that is the same line as they have in the house, and just use it as a backup. So this is just one example of the many benefits you can get from VoIP by switching from residential. For example, you can have a more you can have a more mobile or something that you can take out of the house. You can take your line out of the house. You can access your line from out of the house as well. There are more devices and more technology involved with this. So if you don't like to have a house phone, you only like to use a cell phone on your computer, or maybe a cell phone on your mobile device, you can do that as well. You can bring any of the features from the business side into the home. So if you like to add an answer machine, you like to add music on hold, all those features, you can add them as well. So yes, there are many features. Moving on, it will, of course, be what are the specific needs of that residential area that you are attacking.
Okay, fantastic. How about we move on to the next question about the mobile app feature within, I'm sorry, the chat feature within the mobile app.
Okay, do you want me to answer that one, Sario?
Please, go ahead, Patrice.
Oh, sure. So actually, it's a kind of question that is very nice to answer, if you know what I mean, Sario. As we speak, we're using a version, and we're selling a version of Bicom which do not have the chat option. but it's actually in the process of being released in a few months on the version 6 of Glocom. So the answer is no as we speak, but yes, in a few months we will have the chat feature available on the mobile app of Glocom. When exactly it's going to be at some stage in Q1. As we speak today, we are testing internally in Glocom within the team, in Bicom, sorry, within the team. We're testing this all new Glocom version 6 and with the chat on the mobile app. And we will have a version released to our resellers, partners at some stage in February, I believe, for a beta testing. And the full release will be at some stage in March.
And will that include texting as well, SMS?
No, not for the moment. It's going to be only chat. Text, SMS is another topic, another feature that we are working on today, and that's probably going to be again at some stage in 2020. But as we speak, we don't have a schedule for that.
Got it. Thank you. Here's a question that came up during the presentation. There's a lot of talk about SD-WAN right now. Could you briefly mention SD-WAN as an enabling technology for VoIP, especially in rural communities?
Definitely. SD-WAN is something that has proven to be just the right solution in order to maintain continuity on the service. SD-WAN is the type of technology that will allow you not just to maintain a good quality of service, but also to maintain the conversation or a connection or a service going on during an outage, because SD-WAN allows you to have multiple providers as well. So, for example, an SD-WAN device can have a cable internet provider and a GSM internet provider, and it won't even drop the call if you are talking over an SD-WAN device using these two providers and one of them dies or drops, it won't even drop the call. So yes, SD-WAN it could be a very big factor in providing VoIP on the rural areas.
And I think that kind of ties into a question that Travis had asked here too, related to some of the common issues and resolutions running the VoIP solutions over rural wireless networks. You know, when you have that SD-WAN backbone in place, it can really help address issues related to jitter, latency, et cetera.
That's correct. Yes, that's why I mentioned the quality of service. It's really great to maintain the quality of service and to ensure the right bandwidth is put aside for the communications services.
Mm-hmm. Here's another question that came in from an attendee here. Does Opus use less CPU resources than G729?
Yes, it uses less CPU and is adaptive. The great thing about Opus is it can go up and down on the internet consumption depending on the kind of bandwidth you're using, or if it changed in the middle of the call. So, but yes, it's more economic on the CPU side. It's less CPU.
Okay, great. Another question for you, looking ahead over the next couple of years, is there a window here to the VoIP, to the rural VoIP opportunity, looking to around 2021 and beyond? Is this something that's going to last throughout the next decade, or should partners really be pouncing on the rural VoIP opportunity now while they still can?
Well, as we saw on those slides at the beginning, VoIP industry is exploding now. I mean, it will now is the time to jump on it, but the window is way larger than way beyond 2021. I mean, in 2021, probably will hit a pretty high point but at that point, we just will have a very wide marketplace using VoIP and looking for add-ons, looking for improvements, and so on, that will keep that window open for at least the next decade. I mean, it's once it becomes, that big, it will just demand more and more. The more the customers, the more knowledge these customers get, and the more they use the technology, the more they will demand, they will integrate, and so on. So yeah, I say this statistics, 2021 hitting that peak is just opening the door, but at least for the next decade, we have a good market there waiting for VoIP. The earlier you start, of course, well, the better, because the more complete of a solution you will have, and you can gain and win your customers' base easier than in the next few years when you're going to have way more competitors and so on.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any last minute questions here? We still have a couple minutes if you still want to send anything to the queue. Okay, it looks like we might be wrapping up here. Big thank you to our presenters here, to Salio and Patrice, to the Bicom Systems team, and of course all of you for attending today's event. For more information on Bicom Systems, please visit bicomsystems.com. You'll also be able to access this webinar on demand following the event on channelvision.com/webinars. Thanks. We'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for you, Gerald.
Thank you, Gerald.
Bye-bye.